Right guys, welcome back to the channel, and today the Harlequins are assaulting Mining Facility 42. So today folks, we are at Warhammer World and James has very kindly brought his flesh tearers along for a battle, and of course making the debut on the channel today is going to be Gabriel Seth, and he's not being a pussy and hiding in the Land Raider. This board, you may have seen in the photos, is absolutely beautiful. It is insanely detailed, insanely intricate, and an absolute pleasure to play on, hopefully. The Land Raider, meanwhile, is going to have a little bit of a difficult time, so we're making up a little bit of some special rules here. What we're saying is if he moves along walkways and stuff, and if he only moves 6 inches, no difficult terrain. If he decides to climb or go 12 inches, then a difficult terrain test is required, but we are going to give James free dozer blades, even though Land Raiders can't take it. The mission today is Spoils of War. We've got objective marker 4, number 2, number 3 on the walkway, number 5 at the back, number 6 down here, and number 1 on the top of the sky shield. So here we go, this is the Harlequin force. Today we are running a Segarax Revenge formation. So we've got a unit of 2 Void Weavers. The green one will be, or rather the purple one will be the Serpent's Breath, which is ballistic skill 5. We've got 3 units of Harlequins troop, and everything is WYSIWYGs, fusion pistols and things like that. That one is actually going to count as a caress, not a sword. This guy is the Warlord, and he has the storied sword. Down here, we've got another unit of troops, or WYSIWYG with kiss and caress in there, as well as a couple of pistols. However, the troop master in this unit has a caress and the crescendo, which is a 5-shot shuriken pistol. The last troop squad, again, this chainsword is going to count as a caress, so there's only 2 proxies there. Unfortunately, you only get 2 per box, but this troop master here has the Eye of the Laughing God, which confers adamantium will to any models within 12, and each of those are going in their respective Star Weavers. We've then got a single unit of 4 Sky Weavers, all with Zephyr Glaives and Shuriken cannons, and then we've got the Blades of Fate, I think it is, which is a unit of 2, which allows re-rollable Jinx. We've then got a unit of 3 Death Jesters, or rather 3 separate ones, but the purple hooded one is going to count as Imran's Spectre. We of course have the Solitaire with Segarax Rose, and then we have 3 Shadow Seers. The blue hooded one has Dance of Shadows, Veil of Tears, and Laugh of Sorrows. The purple hooded one rolled on Telepathy. She's got Psychic Shriek, Hallucination, and Shrouding. It's also worth noting that she does have a Neuro Disruptor and the Mask of Secrets for a -2 leadership within 12 bubble. And finally, the green one has Shards of Light, Veil of Tears, and Dance of Shadows as well. The Warlord trait on this guy, I got a 4+ Seize the Initiative, but after the last game, I enchanted it. So I re-rolled and got 1, which means he can re-roll to hits of a 1 as well as his saving throws of a 1. However, the formation or detachment I'm running gives me that anyway. So, you know, it's not going to be too bad. At least he's re-rolling some of his hits. It's worth noting as well that from turn 2 I can run and charge, but I can't shoot if I do that. So let's have a look at James's force. Right, so here we go. This is James's Flesh Tearer force, and of course the Warlord is going to be Seth himself. His Warlord trait is Rampage. For the mandatory HQ, we've got a bog standard Priest, and then we've got, is that 10 Vanguard? Yep. Without jump packs. This guy at the front door has a Relic Blade. There's a Storm Shield in there, and a couple of other goodies. They are, of course, in a Land Raider Redeemer, which I don't like because I know what it does. Yeah, we've then got a tactical squad with a power sword on the Sergeant. We've got a heavy flamer and a grav gun as well in a Rhino. How effective a grav gun is going to be when I don't have an armor save though? Winning on 6. And then, of course, we've got a copy and paste in a drop pod. We've got a unit of 10 Death Company as our power sword, 2 power swords, and a couple of bolt guns. And then we've got 2 units of 10 Assault Marines with Veteran Sergeants with power swords and 2 metal guns in each. Do you know what? The power swords make no difference now. Yeah, no. Let's see what is going to happen though. This is going to be a bloody fight. He's actually got a hell of a lot more models than me as well. So down here we've got the unit of 2 bikers. We've got the Solitaire and 1 unit of troop here. We've got the Death Jesters all teaming up into 1 unit. We've got the Serpent's Breath and of course the other Star Weaver there, or Void Weaver. We've got the Warlords unit here with the Shadow Seer with the Mask of Secrets in. We've got the other squad of bikes and the final troop squad over there. Now as it stands, I am going first, but James's counter deployment. We've got a unit of Assault Marines across here. We've got a TAC squad in the Rhino, hurtling through the sewage on the ground floor. We've got a unit of Death Company here. We've got the Land Raider with Sephiroth in the vanguard, and finally we've got the other unit of Assault Marines. So as it stands, I'm going first unless James wishes to seize. In the reserve though, he does have that 1 pod. Does he seize? No. Harlequins, turn 1. So turn 1, Harlequins have drew Objective 4, Objective 2, and Principal Performance. So basically, my Warlord's got to live, or I've got to kill Seth, or I've got to kill Seth in the challenge. That one's going to be really, really hard to get. Right, so the Star Weaver down here managed to jump down onto Objective Marker 4, and these guys have pushed forward 12. They're going to pour a couple of shots down at, is that the Death Company? The Assault Marines down there, see if we can get 1 or 2. And then try and assault jump 11 inches onto Objective Marker 2. Otherwise, that's going to be a free point for James next turn. I don't want to push too far forward. I could have turbo boosted, but the problem is with Death Company there, yes, I'm going to probably kill them, but it's strength 3. It's going to be hard, and I didn't really want to chance it. So the Death Jesters have leapt down here. They've got line of sight on a few guys through there. The Star Weaver here with the Warlord in's got line on a couple of others, and of course, this one does as well. Meanwhile, these two have pulled sideways to get some shots in on those. But where is the Solitaire hiding? Oh yeah, it's worth noting as well that these guys are also going to be shooting the Assault Marines down in the distance. Lots and lots of targets, but we'll have to see what we can do. Right, so the bikers that were here, did we manage to kill a single Marine down there? None. Only 2 shots from the Shuriken cannons and nothing was done. Meanwhile, up here, only the lead Serpent was in range of the Assault Marines down there. The Prismatic Cannon killing 1, the Shuriken Cannon killing 2, and then these guys peppering the front of them, killing another 2, and unfortunately they ran off the board, scoring me first blood. Meanwhile, the Death Jesters and both of these Star Weavers Shuriken Cannons poured into the Death Company, and how many did we kill? 4. 4 Death Company isn't too bad at all, but it does mean that we do score Objective 4. I can't discard Objective 2, which is going to get James a free point. So I'm going to discard Principal Performance. That gets me 2 points. And now there's a drop pod coming in with a Heavy Flamer. This is going to hurt. Right, so turn 1 for the Flesh Tearers. James has drew Supremacy, Secure 5 and 3. And of course he can go after 2 for me, so he might get quite a lot of points here, especially if he gets all 3 of these objectives. So he's going to end up getting 2. There's number 3, so he's just got to get the Death Company there. And there's number 5, and his drop pod's coming in. Where's it going, James? Oh, direct hit, and there's a Heavy Flamer in there. That is not good news for me. Ouch. And what's the other one he's got? Objective 5, 3, and then of course 2, and you're going to get Supremacy. Right, so unsurprisingly his drop pod has landed on Objective 5, and James is going to take out the Warlord if he can with a Heavy Flamer and weight of dice. Incidentally, everything at this side is pretty much being left, apart from the Rhino, turbo boosting, or rather just moving 12, straight through the water and then hitting the rock and conveniently facing up at the Harlequins for the guys inside to shoot out at. The Death Company, meanwhile, fearless men that they are, have leapt up onto the platforms, all passing the dangerous terrain and securing Objective 3 and staring down the Warlord's Star Weaver. There's a Land Raider hurtling through the middle of the facility, ready to deliver its payload to whatever comes near it. And at this side, the Assault Marines have leapt up to secure Objective 2. So as it stands, James does have 3 objectives, but he needs to control 4 to get Supremacy. We'll have to see if he can blow me off one, because he needs to get rid of somebody on one. Let's see what he does though in the shooting phase. Right, so shooting phase, the guys in the Rhino snap firing out the top. Actually managed to do a single wound to these guys, and that was a fire from the Stormbolter on the Rhino as well. Down here though, the Deathwind missile launcher got 3 wounds, and I didn't pass a single save on these guys, unfortunately. So one of the Death Jesters is cut down. Meanwhile here, every single gun that these guys had poured onto this Star Weaver and did nothing to the Star Weaver itself. However, the Shadowseer jumped in front of the flames to protect her brethren, and she took a wound. The Death Company even rapid fired in as well, and nothing. The pilot of this Star Weaver needs to be commended. However, the pilot of this Star Weaver couldn't even avoid a single bull pistol shot from the guy at the front. So that, of course, is on a single hull point. It's worth noting as well, though, I did use the Mirage launcher on this Star Weaver, so that Mirage launcher has gone. It's now time for assault, and I'm guessing, James, you're just going to go for this one? 9-inch charge. He makes it, but I've got Overwatch because I'm open topped. Right, so assaults, despite getting a hit on Overwatch, the Death Company managed to actually survive it and take down the Star Weaver. We did pass a couple of the invulnerable saves with the hollow fields, but not quite enough. So these guys have all leapt out. It didn't explode, so I can disembark within 3 inches. And yeah, they're going to hit back hard. Meanwhile, James does steal objective 2 from me and scores his own objective 5. Unfortunately, because he did charge, he's now more than 3 inches away from objective 3. So the score is 2-2. Let's move into turn 2. Right, so Harlequins turn 2. We've got take to the stage, which means I have to control objective 2. The Joy of Lament, I need to cause someone to fail a fear pinning or morale check, which I'm hopeful to do. And Blood and Guts kill something in the assault phase, which again, I'm very, very hopeful to do. Movement, the Star Weavers have dropped down to hopefully get a couple of shots in that Land Raider to decide to hide in the shadows. The Sky Weavers I didn't really know what to do with, so they're basically going to lend some support and fire over this way, see what damage we can do. Star Weaver, I still need to move this one actually, but the 2 Death Jesters have leapt up here. Hopefully I'm going to make these guys run off the board. Hopefully. Nope, because if they do the wound, I choose the direction you run. Down here, the Solitaire and the Bikers are hopeful to pop the transport and then kill the guys inside, but we'll have to see what happens with that. I've got some interesting shenanigans I want to do in the Psychic phase. I'm going to cast Psychic Shriek with this Shadowseer down here. And I'm going to do the one over here, which power I totally forget, where you've got to take 2 morale tests. And you suffer wounds for how much you fail by on the first one and pass by on the second, or the other way. But we'll work that out. So, interesting stuff. I think this is going to be make or break for the Harlequins this turn, because if I don't do the damage now, it's going to hurt in return. Right, so shooting phase. The Star Weaver and these guys shot into the Marines here. There's a couple left, but I need to charge them to get me objective marker 2 as well as Blood and Guts. Down here, 2 Lancers on the front of the Void Weavers. Managed to do a single glance to the Land Raider that's hiding through there that you still can't see. The Sky Weavers shot into the Marines here, as well as the Death Jesters and that Star Weaver that immobilized itself, at least it's on an objective, shot into the Marines here, and then I've made them run, trying to get them off the board, and at -4 leadership they did fail, -4 because of Mask of Secrets on the Shadowseer, and James rolled an 8, 9 inches to get off the board. So close. Meanwhile down here, you can see there's no more Rhino. The Shuriken cannons on these guys managed to take them down, and I think the Solitaire wants a piece of this tactical squad. So although we are dealing with the flanks of the Flesh Tearers quite well, there's a lot going on in the middle, but there's a big giant squad that I'm not looking forward to facing in here. Right, so the assault phase. These guys charged in and tore apart 3 of the Marines. It wasn't enough though, because the Flesh Tearers hit back and killed 3 Harlequins. That's not going to get me objective 2 for take the stage. But it's worth noting that for take the stage, next turn for me is objective 3, and I happen to be on it. As you can see, these guys charged in and tore apart the remaining Death Company. but the Death Jesters went in here, and unfortunately we lost the guy with 1 wound despite killing 1 of the Marines. So that was a tight combat as well. Down here though, we lost the biker on 1 wound. We cut down 5 Marines altogether with the Solitaire. He got a very, very poor roll, and of course the Solitaire will automatically chase the Marines down, locking them in combat. So I do score the Joy of Lament for causing a fear pinning or morale test here. I score Blood and Guts for here, and I steal objective marker 3 from James as well. Puts the score at 5-2. Let's see how James retaliates though. Flesh Terror's turn 2, and James has drew secure 4 and 6. And Witch Hunter. Witch Hunter you should be able to do. If he survives there, you're probably going to kill that Shadow Seer. Objective 4 though is down there behind the Star Weaver on 1 point, and if we look across the table, objective 6 is right over here, which I think he's going to struggle to get to. But good news, the Land Raider's pushed forward. It is going to be able to shoot. It's only moved 6 inches. It is hidden in there, believe it or not. These guys have all jumped out. Obviously they are on the bottom floor, but getting them in there is going to be a nightmare. It's worth noting as well though, Seth has detached and he is going for those Skyweavers. There's a lot of Overwatch, but James is hopeful that he can take them out whilst they're not swinging with that extra strength, because they're only strength 3 otherwise. So yeah, I think he's going to torch some Harlequins now. Right, so shooting phase, the Land Raider, despite snap firing the assault cannon, using the flamer and the multi-melter, did nothing to the Void Weavers. The Stern Guard though that leapt out have multi-charge. Like I said earlier though, we are simply placing these here because we ain't getting our hands in there. They did multi-charge across to these guys, so they are going to get the swing first, but conveniently there's a few Storm Shields there, which isn't great, but we'll have to see what happens. But Seth has charged in here and he has challenged the Skyweavers. He wants a piece of them, he knows he's outnumbered, and the bikes are circling. James, how many attacks does he have? 6 for charging because of rage, and then D3 for just the 1. Right, do you want to do this one first? Now we're going to roll them in a dice tray because like there's nowhere to roll dice. So what's your weapon skill?
6.
Same as me, so 4s. That's only 2.
Strength 9.
Yep.
Please be a 6.
1 wound.
Wow.
You hold the tray for me?
Yep.
5 up, re-roll them once.
When you roll for that.
Yep. So I got 12 attacks back, 3 base for the bikes. I didn't even realise that, and they're at AP3.
Seth has a 3 up save in my.
Yeah, but he's got Iron Halo though, right?
Yeah, that's a 4 up and 3 wounds.
I'm wounding you on 5s though. So I'm hitting on 4s. It's a few more hits than what you got. But I'm now wounding on 5s. I'm only strength 3 because I didn't charge. 1 wound, 1 4. There you go. So, as you can see, nothing happened in that combat phase. I tried to hit and run with the bikes, but I rolled a 6. Not in my favour. And these guys, of course, weight of dice managed to annihilate the Quins that were up here. However, we did kill 1 Marine. 1 whole Marine. And then the deed annihilate the entire unit. Almost. 1 wound was left over. So, we've left it on the Shadow Seer. I have, as a result, given James Slay the Warlord. But I need this Shadow Seer to annihilate these. I have to do it. The Death Jester also hit and run. Nothing exchanged down there. And down here, the Lone Bike and the Solitaire killed a single Marine. And that was it. And they put 1 wound back on the bike. So the bike is wounded. They're both hit and ran. And of course, they're going to charge straight back in. Down here was a drawn combat yet again, so of course we hit and ran out. We're going to hopefully charge back in and do some more damage. And with that, James only scores Slay the Warlord. It's worth noting as well, actually I forgot to mention it, we lost one of the Void Weavers to the sheer weight of dice. We did actually pass quite a few of the hollow field saves in combat, so we can at least move off and do some damage with that. It's still all to play for. Let's see what happens in Harlequins turn 3. So cards for turn 3, I've drew Take the Stage still from last turn, which is now objective 3. And I conveniently have an immobilized Starweaver on it. We've got Assassinate, which is kill a character, and of course we've got Trickery and Deception. I nominate objective, and if I score it, I get 1 point. James has nominated an objective. If I score that, I get 1 point. If I secure both of them, I get D3. So it's important to push ahead because technically I'm only leading by 1 point at this stage. So let's see what we can do in the shooting and combat phase. Right, so movement phase, these guys have pushed back up and this Weaver has pulled sideways to get some shots in on these guys. The Void Weaver left combat but unfortunately immobilized itself when it landed. Across this side though, the Solitaire has run out to objective 6 and down here the Biker has pushed forward. So interesting stuff. In the psychic phase though, these guys had already leapt out in the movement phase and we cast Shards of Light down at these. Got 1 wound. James failed his 1 save but passed his blinding test. I think the guy forgot his Storm Shield and remembered his sunglasses. Or the other way around, who knows. And then I tried Psychic Shriek again for the second turn. I don't think I mentioned it in the round 2. But yeah, I rolled a, what was it, 7? And they're at leadership 10, even with -2 from the Mask of Secrets, so that kind of sucked. Yeah, I think because of my cards having Trickery and Deception, I think James has possibly nominated this card, Objective 5, which I'm going to have to kill a drop pod. Hopefully. And then would I control all of them? Yeah, I would. Wow. Right, let's see what happens in the shooting phase. Right, so shooting phase down here. This Skyweaver managed to take out 2 more of the Tactical Marines here. Hopefully we're going to make that charge. And like I said, the Solitaire has moved up here to hopefully secure this objective. It was a toss-up between this one or potentially this one as to which one he went for. Down here though, these guys ran. They're looking to try and take out the drop pod. It's going to be tough to do it, but hopefully we can. Meanwhile, down here, the guys in the centre suffered firepower from Starweavers at both sides, the Void Weaver, and even Psychic Shriek. Again, only rolling really low, but they failed their morale. James rolled a 9, and he's at -2 thanks to the Shadow Seer's Mask of Secrets. The guys here took fire from the Death Jester. We killed 1, and he failed his morale again. And guess how far he ran? 5 inches, putting him just at the edge of the board. Oh. Yeah, we've now got some very interesting combats to make. We're going to charge here and we've literally got a couple of chances to take this drop pod out and that is it. Right, so assault phases, we hurtled in there and killed 2 of the Marines. Unfortunately, didn't kill anybody in return and morale checks were passed. Down here, Seth, that whirling Goreblade, killed 2 of the Skyweavers thanks to doubling them out. Try to get lucky charging in here. There's 2 Caress in there and a couple of Kiss, and unfortunately I only got a single glance. Meanwhile, man of the match, the guy with the grav gunner, he's now dropped. Overwatch to the Skyweaver, got 1 hit, 1 wound, and then I failed me invulnerable. So with that, I do score Assassinate because there was a sergeant down there that I did manage to kill in the shooting phase. Trickery and Deception, I score at least 1 point because I nominated this one and you went for 5. I had a feeling. I also get another point for Take the Stage because I nominated objective, well, it's now turn 3, so objective 3. And do I steal something? Objective 6 from James. So there we go, that gets me 4 points, puts me to, what's that, 9 to 4? All to play for still. So turn 3 and James has drew Witch Hunter, secure 4 twice. We have done the entire turn because it was super quick. So the Land Raider hurtling out of here, multi-melter at the Void Weaver and it missed, and then the Assault Cannon pummeled the Shadow Seer to pieces. In the shooting phase, these guys decided to rapid fire into the Shadow Seer, Death Jester even, and didn't do anything at all. And as you can see, there is no Harlequins left. There is a Troop Master on a single wound. Guess what, James? He's going to hit and run. He makes it out. So we'll resolve that shortly, but I made a terrible mistake. I should have hit and ran last turn, and even though I'd been in the open, I'd have been alive. But as you can see, the bikes managed to bring Seth down to 1 wound, and he smashed the 2 of them that was left. And that was pretty much it. James has got a single guy over here, and I've got a solitaire right down there. So it's still all to play for because he does score another victory point. But I'm very, very close to being tabled here. So we'll have to see how it continues in turn 4. Right, so turn 4, we've drew the Dance of Death. Score 1 victory point if an enemy unit was completely destroyed. We've got Supremacy, and we've got Secure Objective 6. We've done almost the entire turn. So basically, the prismatic cannon on the top of here could see these guys and managed to kill the priest and 1. This Starweaver's top gun also shot in as well. The Death Jester shot at these, did nothing, charged and did nothing. In the movement phase though, these guys moved and ran. They're going to stay as far away as possible from Objective 4 while still claiming it because I can steal it twice from James. And Seth was here. That Starweaver conveniently immobilized itself. So I've got 3 immobilized guys, all pointing at a Land Raider, which only this one can do something to. And I think that was it for the entire turn. I did leave the Solitaire over here though to secure Objective 6. I didn't want him over there, but I need to play the points game because I've got very few models left. And of course, down here, we moved the Troopmaster from here down to there, ran and charged, and we've just rolled the dice. 5 attacks, 3 of them hit. Strength 4 because of Furious Charge, 2 wounds. AP 3 because of Sword, and he's on 1 wound. Oh! And he swings back, and now he's probably going to kill us, but you're not outnumbered, so you've only got 4 attacks?
Yep.
You hit me on 4s though, because I'm weapon skill 7. It's not good.
2s.
This isn't good.
2, 4.
Nope.
Dead. Dead, dead, dead. But I do score 5 points. So with that, I actually score 4 points plus D3 for Supremacy because I control number 4, number 3, and number 6, whereas James only controls the 1. So D3 victory points for 1. That scores me 5, puts me at 14. Flesh Terrors, turn 4. James has got Blood and Guts, Big Game Hunter, and Secure 6. He's not going to be able to make it to 6, but we've done most of the turn. This guy, bull pistoled here, and we managed to save it on the hollow field. Meanwhile, the Deathwind missile launcher and everything on the Land Raider didn't do a thing to this Void Weaver. Down here though, these Assault Marines are going to be charging that one, and Seth got a 6-inch difficult terrain, so he's dropped down 2 levels. He's got a 7-inch charge, which he made, but I got 3 hits on Overwatch because of the Crescendo, and I've just rolled to wound 1, and then 1 wound was a rend. That was it, so 4 plus. Oh, and he makes it to combat as well. Right, so with Seth passing that save as he hurtles in, we've resolved the attacks already. The Troopmaster didn't do anything at all, failed to wound. The Shadow Seer, meanwhile, got 3 wounds on Seth. She's swinging at the same time as him though, and we haven't rolled his saves. He, meanwhile, is getting 6 wounds back. So, unless I pass 5 ups here, out of 6, I'm dead. I reroll 1s, but that's the squad. Now, James has 3 saves to make, so he's got his full 3-up armor save. No! Oh, so close. Right, so combat. That guy annihilated that Starweaver, and these annihilated that. Meanwhile, the Death Jester killed 1 more Marine, which leaves me with 3 models, an immobilized Starweaver, a Death Jester, and a Solitaire. Points-wise, though, what does James score?
Blood and Guts, D3.
Yep.
Which is 1, and Big Game Hunter.
Yep, so that's for killing the 2 units in, the 2 vehicles in combat, and then Seth killing them. Technically, that's 4 units you killed.
Still D3.
D3, so 1, and then of course Big Game Hunter gets him another 2 points. So the Harlequins have suffered heavy casualties, but he's got to get to the Solitaire. Secure Objective 6, which means I'm going to score it, which means he has to stay there. Right, let's see what happens in turn 5. So turn 5, the Harlequins drew Secure 1, Hungry for Glory, and No Prisoners. So basically, the Void Weaver shot at the Land Raider and did nothing, it missed. The Death Jester killed the last Marine, and this guy is staying here on Objective 6 to steal it from James. So I get 1 point for that, and I score No Prisoners for killing that. Puts me at 17 points as it stands, and that is going to be turn. But James is going to probably, well, can you get to objective 1? It's where we've been hiding the dice. So yeah, let's see what cards James gets on turn 5 even. Right, so turn 5, James has got no prisoners, overwhelming firepower and swift advance. We've just done the entire turn and the game has come to an end. James has pulled these guys back onto objective 2. Down here though, the Land Raider, Power the Machine Spirit, the Assault Cannon and the Flamer and the Multi-Melter at the start. The Void Weaver, the Multi-Melter exploded it, getting him overwhelming firepower as well as no prisoners. And meanwhile, the Assault Cannon, everything at the Death Jester. He had a 3-up cover save and he was re-rolling 1s. He got 3 wounds and I rolled a 222. So that has doubled out the Death Jester. And with that, James does score 2 more points. He does score Line Breaker and I don't. James, what was the final score? 15 to about 10? Let's add them up. Right, so we've just added that up. The score is 16 to James's 9, was it?
Yep.
With Line Breaker. I think the Harlequins getting that first round of shooting was absolute critical, and even with this beautiful board and all the terrain in the way, it was then just an uphill slog for James. And James, you know what? You did amazingly well because there's this guy left. And you probably think I'm a pussy for leaving him there, but how many points did he score himself by simply pulling them? I think 3, 1 objective 6 for me and 2 from you. Wow, this board is absolutely beautiful, but it is so difficult to play on. I think definitely don't bring tanks. Drop pods are probably fine. Don't bring Skyweavers or Void Weavers because they're hard to use. But it is a beautiful, beautiful table nonetheless. It's been an absolute pleasure playing James's Flesh Tearers. It's great to have Gabriel Seth on, even though he's wading around in the sewage. But James, thank you very, very much. Folks, if you're ever at Warhammer World, I seriously recommend that you play on this table. It is beautiful. But until next time, thanks for watching.